Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Dear devotees of Chicago, Bari, we are starting our 4th session of the Essentials of Sanatana Dharma. And the speaker is none other than Professor Subramaniam, and his wife Vidya will be singing a few songs on Sanatana Dharma and other things. We have another guest. This is an old friend of mine. I rediscovered him after 45 years. Mr. Srinivasan, he was with the American Embassy in India, and also he was with the State Department here in USA, settled down in Virginia. He will be joining us. He is what do you call a Veda chanter. His whole family is a sixth generation of the Vedic family from Banaras, Kasi, India. And I will ask afterwards Mr. Subramaniam to introduce Srinivasan is a chartered accountant, and let Subramaniam introduce him after that. With this, let me hand over the mic to Mr. Subramaniam. Thank you.
Thank you, Sampath. Namaste to all. Welcome to session 4 of the Essentials of Sanatana Dharma. As usual, we'll start with our Dhyana Slokams. Gajananam Bhudaganadi Sevitam Khapitta Jambo Balasara Vachitam Uma Sutam Soka Vinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmat Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sri 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 Shantanam Tavadhuta Gurave Namaha. We are very happy to start this session 4 of this series on the essentials of Sanatana Dharma. We did mention in the last session overview of Vedas. I'd like to give you a very quick runaround of this. What did we really see in the last session 3? We covered the essential 4 key Vedas: Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Veda. We also give an overview of the contents of these Vedas. And I discuss in detail with you why Vedas. What is the reason to follow and sustain Vedas? We covered it in detail that even though it is philosophy that leads us to questions, and many scientific discoveries are made based on the questions raised by philosophy. Like Archimedes discovered his principle when he was in water. Why does the body feel light? And then he ran out shouting Eureka, discovery of the flotation in water. Likewise, Professor Einstein, who discovered the theory of relativity, he said it was an instant flash in his mind, not really based on science, but it occurred in his mind, so all of a sudden, and he discovered the theory of relativity. Likewise, the Vedas were discovered by the ancient rishis and hence called the Shrutis. They heard it and then repeated through memory from generations and got the name of Smritis. So I mentioned about the importance of sound and vibrations in Vedic mantras. Today, we are going to continue with that with Veda Angas. I mentioned the 4 key Vedas, but I also mentioned about the 6 key Angas or limbs as they are called. These Veda Angas, the Vedas are themselves fundamental, but the Angas and Upa Angas derive the importance from the Vedas. So the Vedas must be really learned with the Angas and Upangas, and such a thorough study of this is called Sa Anga Upanga. In fact, in Tamil there is Sango Pangamaha. When somebody speaks very clearly, it is called Sango Pangamaha. Sa Anga Upanga. It is Sa Anga Upanga Adhyayana which makes the person well versed in Vedas. So the Veda Angas, the limbs of the Veda, are 6 auxiliary disciplines in Hinduism that developed in ancient times, and it has been connected with the study of the Vedas. The Angas, as I stated last time, are 6 in number, and today I'm going to list it out for you. Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandas, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and Kalpa. Now, Siksha deals with phonetics, which is the life breath of the Vedas, which deals with pronunciation. It is focused on the letters of the Sanskrit alphabet, the accent, the quantity, the stress, the melody, and rules of the euphonic combination of words during a Vedic recitation. So it's a very, very important and listed as number 1, really. Second is Vyakarana, which deals with the grammar, sound, the prosody, focused on poetic meters, and the linguistic analysis, the rules of the grammar. All these are covered in the grammar portion, Vyakarana. It is to establish the exact form of words and sentences in what sequence and to properly express ideas. Chandas, it's a meter based on fixed number of syllables per verse. Nirukta is the etymology or explanation of words, particularly those that are archaic and have ancient uses, to establish the proper meaning of words. It's a Vedic dictionary, you can say. It presents the true meaning of each word. And Jyotisha, as you all know, connected with astrology, astronomy, and Kalpa is action, induce one's action. So these are 6 limbs which are also listed here. Siksha is represented by the nose of Veda Purusha. Vyakarana is representing the mouth because it has to do with sound and grammar. Chandas represents the feet, metric composition. Nirukta is the ears, Vedic dictionary. Jyotisha is eyes because you see the stars, you see the planets. So it's represented with the eyes. And lastly, Kalpa, which is the hands, it's action and it is inducing one to action. So these are the 6 angas, as they call it. And there are 3 styles to recite a Vedic mantra, which is Padya, which is poetry, Gadya is the prose, and Sama is singing. All these forms are adopted, 3 styles. Now we're going to talk more about Siksha today. In fact, I have my learned friend and one who is well versed in Vedas through generations. We are fortunate to have him today, and he is going to, in fact, give us a demo of what this Siksha really means. So I'm going to tell more about him after we complete this introduction of Siksha itself. Siksha, as you know, it means instruction, in particular, instruction in reciting, in correct pronunciation, accentuation. The same name given to works containing rules regarding the proper pronunciation of Vedic texts. So Vedic literature perceive Veda as a Purusha with all these limbs which I mentioned, the 6 limbs. And the Siksha is the first Vedanga, and it teaches accurate pronunciation of syllables, the correct usage of the tongue. You see the diagram in Sanskrit, the pronunciation is so important that each of these components in your mouth, right from the lip to the teeth and the roof of the mouth, the palate, and eventually the throat here, all these are used in the correct pronunciation. Each letter is spelt in a particular way. So it's actually a very immaculate making of Aksharam. And Vedic chanting is something which is absolutely unique in the sense that it's not only proper pronunciation of Sanskrit, but proper tones, and tonal purity is absolutely mandatory to get the desired benefits. So each letter has a tone, it cannot be changed. The meanings and vibrations otherwise will get affected. The focus should be on the proper pronunciation to make sure the vibrations are generated in the right way. So the Guru makes it a point to repeat, the students repeat once and twice and thrice until they get the tones correct. So any deviation is not really tolerated. So it's going to be a very, very important part of Siksha. Going further, what are the key steps in Vedic chanting? So you have in ascending complexity, there are Padam, Kramam, Jatai, and Ganam. Actually, it starts with Vakya, which is a sentence. Vakyam itself has been sentence. And in that, the mantras are chanted in the normal way. It's a natural order, no special patterns. It's a simple sentence. Like if you say the water is clear, it is just a sentence. It is a Mula Mantram or normal chanting. And in Vakya Pada, some words of mantras may be joined together by a Sandhi. But the other steps are Padam, Kramam, Jatai, Ganam. These are all in different complexity, one more complicated than the other. To give you an example, Padam, if you say the water is clear, in Padam, each word is broken down like the water is clear. Let's say you call it as 1, 2, 3, 4. It means it becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. Each separate. So there is actually a verse which combines all these. It is Jatamala Shikharekha Dvajadando Ratho Ganaha Ityasto Vikrityaha Prokta Karma Purva Maharshibihi. That is covering all these. There are 8 categories in this. And in the 8 categories, the Samhita Pata and Padapata are there called Prakriti Pata, the natural way of chanting, since the words are related only once and in the natural order. The other methods, the 8 ones I mentioned, are called Vikriti Pata, or the artificial way of chanting. Some of you may remember in Mahalakshmi Ashtakam, you have this, the first verse, Prakritim Vikritim Vidyam Sarvabhuta Hitapradam Shraddham Vibhuti Navami Paramatmikam. The very first verse is Prakritim, Vikritim. So there are two, Prakriti, Vikriti. Prakriti is natural and Vikriti is artificial. So the krama is the technique of reciting the same sentence in slightly more difficult way. Like if you say the water is clear, you can say the water is clear, like 1 2 2 1 1 4, that way. So in this ascending order, you have Jatai, and the most complex, the last of it is Ghanam. And Ghanam is something which is very, very complex. I'd like to quote an example of uh, 68 Sankaracharya of Kanchi Kamakudi Peetam, Kanchi Periva. He once held a Vedic conference. He had held so many, but he held one particularly to test people on Ganam. It was in 1949 at a place called Tiruvadaimardu. Over a week it was held. And Periva organized an examination to test the skills of Pandits in that area. In Yajurveda, he called it Kalvaita Varam, which means stone embedded week. Hundreds of Pandits participated, but only 6 passed in reciting Ghanam. Periva presented them stone embedded rings. See, the failure rate is so high in this, and each aspiring candidate gets only maximum 3 attempts. So earning the title of Ganabadigal is not easy. It is even more difficult than getting a medical or engineering degree. So any qualified Ganabadigal is worthy the highest respect. Such is the expertise that is required. It may be something you can say equivalent to earning the title of a Kung Fu martial arts master. Kung Fu itself means skilled work, very hard endeavor and training. So that is the kind of complexity and difficulty. As I said, we are very lucky to have my good friend and also a former colleague, Srinivasan, called Shinu in short. We worked together for many years. We traveled together in many places. And we share one common passion, and that is Sanatana Dharma. We would like to see that it is sustained, it is promoted effectively to people all around the globe. He has been to many countries. He was in Japan, where he had got these many people follow Sanatana Dharma, and he has traveled in many other countries too. He's a very widely traveled person with a lot of knowledge, and above all, he has the lineage of a great Ganabadical family. His father was in Kashi Vishwanath Sastri, and his brothers, Krishnamurti, got a national award from the president. So such is the lineage, and his family has been decorated so many times for their achievements. So with that little short introduction of my good friend Chino, I'll ask him to talk a little more about the Siksha and give a small demo about the various steps, key steps in Vedic chanting. Over to you, Chino.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Kali Ishwaryai Namaha. Veda Mata Ki Jai. My personal greetings and good wishes to all viewers for the wonderful 2021. First, I would like to thank Chicago Bari and all organizers for giving me an opportunity to say something about Ghanam and Vedam and present a demo of how Ghanam is formatted and recited or chanted. Thank you, Subbi, for introducing me as great Ghanapatil family, which is a fact. But I would like to make it very clear that I'm neither a Ghanapatil nor a Vedic scholar. Like Subbi, Professor has learned so many things in Sanatana Dharma's intricacies of various chapters and books, etc. I also have a passion to learn, and that's how I am here today to talk a little bit about it. That's what it is. Even though my father, my brothers, we all come from Kashi, Varanasi for last 5-6 generations. Coming back, my friend Sundaresan Subramaniam, whom we call Subiji, has already presented much in detail on Chaturvedas, etc., in his presentation on session 3 on essentials of Sanatana Dharma, which I fully heard. This presentation of Subiji has really set a good background for all of you to understand what Vedam is and what it means to Sanatana Dharma. So I won't repeat them again to save time and proceed further to talk about more on the Ganam intricacies. Before I speak on various aspects of Ganam learning, it's very important that I take a few minutes to talk about Vedic scholars and Ganapatihals, how and what kind of hardship they go through in achieving the title of Ganapatihals or Vedic scholars. Subhi has already mentioned that out of 100, only 5 come out as Ganapatihals. I can tell you how the exams take place in Ganam also when time permits me. Friends, in any profession like whether it is a PhD or CPA or doctor, one spends about 15 to 20 years, a little more, of precious time to get these degrees. Similarly, Vedic professionals also have to go through similar processes of adhyanam in Gurukul or Padasala in a most difficult environment where comfort is virtually nil. What is difficult environment? Very strict discipline, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, take bath, do sandhyavandanam, sit down, start chanting for 4 hours, 5 hours, take bath, have breakfast, again start chanting till about lunch period. After 1 hour rest, again start chanting for 6, 7 hours. So throughout the day, they keep on shouting and reciting Vedas and by hearting them. The Vedic study starts at the age of 7, immediately after Brahmopadesham, when the child enters into the Gurukul or Pathshala. And after years of hard work of recitation by heart, they come out as professional Vedic scholars or Ganapatihals. Why these Ganapatihals or professional Vedic scholars are very different from other degree holders is that they remember everything by heart what they studied from the age of 7 till reach the age of 70, 80 or 60 or 50, whatever it is. If I ask myself whether I can read or say without looking into any books, remember one paragraph from any of my school, college or degree books, my reaction will be stunning. What? How can I remember what I studied 30, 40, 50 years back? It is impossible, right? That will be the reaction. This is the difference between the degree that we obtain and the degrees Vadyars and Ganapatihals obtain. They have the capacity to sit and chant 8 or 10 hours every day for 25 days without looking into any book. The kind of sound that Veda mantras or Ghanam chanting creates, it's highly vibrating and divine feelings. People say computer has a strong memory power, 5BG, MBG, GGBG, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. But if a viral goes into the computer system, you know what happens? Phat swaha, nothing exists there. So it is whether is computer memory powerful than the memory power of these Vedic professionals who for years keep on chanting Veda mantras. So it's a big question. This is one reason why Vedic professionals are highly respected for their unique memory power and the kind of vibration they create while they chant. Can any Sanatan Dharma rituals or ceremonies be done without Vedic mantras? Impossible. So that's the value of Vedas in our Sanatana Dharma. Now, coming back to what is Ghanam, that's the word that has been asked by Subramaniam and Sampata Ingar to say a few words about that. You know, the basic book on Vedam is called Krishna Yajurveda Taittiriya Samhita, from which most all Vedic scholars complete their Vedic studies and become Ghanapatihals. There are 4 steps that lead to become a Ganapatihal. You know, if I have to go to the first floor, I can't jump into the first floor. I have to go step by one step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step, and then reach my goal of first floor. Similarly, the 4 steps that will take you to completion of Ghanam Adhyayana, Ghana Adhyanam or Ghananta Adhyanam are Padam, as Subbi has described a little bit about it, or words you can call him as the Mula Mantra. After completing the Adhyanam of the entire Samhita in Padam format, then goes the other aspects of Vedas categories. In Padam, you just keep reading, like Om Bhur Swaha Tatsatarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimhi. This is Om Tatsa Vituhu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. So these are Padam, these are words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like Subbi has explained. I will explain a little more detail when I go further on this actually. Once you complete the entire Samhita by heart in Padam format, you go next step, which is called Kramam. And Kramam format like Padam has a different way of recitation. It's a combination of 2 words, like 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, etc. So once you complete the entire Kramam format of the entire Samhita, as I said, combination of 2 words, you go to the next step, which is called Jata. You don't go to Jata directly. You have to complete Padam. You have to complete Krama fully. And then only you can go to Jata Parayana. It takes years. It's not you can do it 5 days or 1 month or 2 years. It takes years. So once you complete the entire Samhita in Jata format, you reach to the final step, which is called Ghanam. In Jata, it's a 2 words combination of 6 words, like 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 6 words, something like that. Coming back to Ghanam, once you complete the entire Samhita in Padam, in Kramam, in Jata format, you complete the entire Samhita into Ghanam. And then you are certified as a Ghanapatiyal once you complete all those examinations. Subbi mentioned to us very briefly about how the exams are. I will just very briefly give you what I have personally witnessed in a Ghanam examination. Top class Vedic scholars sitting on the stage, students sitting there who are ready to chant Ghana, give exam for Ghana Mantra. 5 out of 5, 6 examiners, one examiner gets up and asks the student to open one page. They open one page from in the middle. Whatever the page comes, the first line, the examiner says, something like that he says. And the boy is supposed to narrate the entire paragraph, Anuvagam, etc., without looking into the book, with correct pronunciation, absolutely perfect pronunciation. If the examiner finds that there is some flaw, then he will very diplomatically say, why don't you repeat it again and come back again? That's all they say. They won't discourage them. They encourage them and they say, that's how the exams are passed. That's how my brothers all have completed Ghana examination, etc. To recite entire Samhita in Padam itself, if you have to recite the entire Samhita book in a Padam format or Moolam format, as to be mentioned, it will take full 5 days. If you systematically, slowly recite with the vibration, with the divine feeling, it takes full 5 days only to read in the Moola Mantra. But if you read the same Samhita book in Kramam format, it takes about 10 days. It takes about 10 days. But if you want to recite the entire Samhita in Jata format, it takes about 15 to 20 days. But if you recite the same Samhita in Ghanam format, it takes about 27 to 28 days. You must be wondering, my God, whoa, what takes 5 days and the same take about 30 days? Why? That is the intricacies of Ghanam. In Ghanam, which is most profound way of reciting Vedam, where all syllables are repeated 13 times back and forth in a formula. But the formula of Krama and Jata are different from formula of Ghanam, as I mentioned earlier also. Just 1, 2, etc. for Krama and Pada. The formula for Ghanam is, note it down, 1, 2, 2 together, again 1, 1, 2 separately, 3, 3, then again 2, then 1, 1 together, then 2 and 3. There are 13 words, 13 numbers here, 13 words. To make it very simple for you to understand easily, is to use one mantra, which is very commonly used by all Sanatana Dharmis, and apply the same numbers into that mantra. And what is that mantra which is commonly used, which everybody knows? It's Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurbhuva Svah Tatsavitarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo na Prachodayat. That's a mantra. The Gayatri mantra, when it's put in the Ghanam format, it starts with Tat Savitu. And there are 11 words. The Padam, when you talk Padam with Gayatri, it's very simple. Tat Savitu Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo na Prachodayat, I mentioned earlier. Using the above same formula, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Here is how the Gayatri mantra will look like. Like when I said first word is 1, what is the first word in Gayatri mantra I mentioned? It's Tat. Then I said 2, 2 together. What is the second word or Padam for Gayatri mantra? It is Savitu. And what is again, it says 1, 1. It means what? Tat and Tat. Then again it says 2. It's Savitu. Then 3, 3. What is the third word? Is Varenyam. Varenyam. Then again 2. It's Savitu. Then 1, 1. Tat, Tat. Then 2. Savitu. Third is Varenyam. That's how the words are, made to each other for those numbers. So I will demonstrate the same in Ghanam, the Gayatri mantra. If you close your eyes and listen to that vibration, that's what is Ghanam is. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Tatsavitus Savitus Tat Tatsavitur Varenyam Varenyagum Savitus Tat Tatsavitur Varenyam Savitur Varenyam Varenyagum Savitus Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Bhargo Varenyagum Savitus Savitur Varenyam Bhargaha Varenyam Bhargo Bhargo Varenyam Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Devasya Bhargo Varenyam Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Bhargo Devasya Devasya Bhargo Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhimahi Devasya Bhargo Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Devasya Dhimahi Dhimahi Devasya Devasya Dhimahi Dhimahi Ti Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Dhiyo Dhiyo Yo No No Yo Dhiyo Dhiyo Yo Naha Yo no no yo na prachodayat na prachodayat no yo na prachodayat न प्रचोदयात् प्रचोदयान्नो न प्रचोदयात् प्रचोदयादिति प्रचोदयात् ओ so that's is called Ghana, and that's how the entire Samhita book is chanted. Now, any Vedic recitation by a group, whether a simple Parayanam or Ghanam, can create a huge vibration and purify the entire atmosphere. That is the power of Ghanam. It has divine power. One has to feel the vibration when recited. What is the beauty of Ghanam? You will know that in Tat Savitu to Prachodayat, there are 11 words. But when you recite in the whole Tat Savitu, there are only 11 words. When you recite in Ghanam format, you find a total of 143 padams in it. Where when I recited, there were 143 padams you found it. Besides, in between, you will note, which is called Padaveshtanam. Padaveshtanam means, like when I said in while chanting, Dhimahiti Dhimahi Prachodayaditi Prachodayat. These are additional, even though for part of Gayatri Mantra, but they are different. So when you, there are about 17, 18 words in addition. So if you all add all those 18, 17, 18 extra words, it becomes 161 words in a Gayatri Mantra. So Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat, 11 words becomes 161 words. So imagine in a Samhita, very simple example, if you take one page, for example, the first page has, say, 30 lines, and each line has 15 words. So 450 words, right, in each page. And suppose there are 300 pages. So imagine how many words, some 135,000 words or something like that. But in the same Samhita, 135 words, if you multiply by so many numbers, I will come back to you to describe as to how many padam it becomes when you chant in the form of Ghanam. So in Samhita, there are 2,196 Panchashat. Panchashat means you can call it as a paragraph or anvagam, very simple terminology. If you use these Panchashats in Padam, the breakdown is as follows. In Padam, when you chant in the form of Padam in the entire Samhita, there are 109,000 Padams, 1,09,000 Padams. When you chant the entire Samhita in Kramam Parvet, it becomes 218,000 Padams, 218,000. And when you do it in Jata format, it's 6,600,000. But Ghanam, about Ghanam alone, it's about 13 to 14 lakhs words. Imagine 13, 14 lakhs words to remember by a Ghanapatiyal. Remember, if a Ghanapatiyal remember 13, 14 lakhs words without looking into the book, tell me what is his memory. Tell me what is his memory. Don't you think it's a miracle power that they have it? Like I said, computer example I gave. So their memory power is much more bigger than computer memory power. But friends, as you know, there is I want to come back to the other part of it. Today, very unfortunately, there is a decline in Veda studies and the number of shakas it originated from, where it was so many numbers from where it has come down. I will give the numbers, etc. It is very disturbing. Even the United States Senate few years back recognized that Vedas are one of the oldest spiritual scriptures in this planet. And today, whether it is Romania or it is France or Germany, you can see many foreigners, international groups, they have started learning Vedas. But we our Sanatana Dharmis, we are not giving as much importance to Vedas as we are supposed to give. In give you some statistics about it. When Veda started, in Rig Veda alone, there were 21 shakhas, branches, different format of chanting. Rig Veda itself, there were 21 shakhas at one time. Today, what is left? Only 2 shakhas. Only 2 shakhas. Is it not pathetic? Similarly, in Yajurveda, there were 15 shakhas. And what is left today? Only 2 shakhas. In Samaveda, I understand there were about 1,000 shakhas. And what is left today? Only 3 shakhas. Atharva Veda, there were 9 and only 1 left so far. Even today, you can count the number of Atharva Vedas in India. That is why I sent Subbi a few days back in Tamil Nadu, in Tanjavur district near Swamimlai. A family has started the Atharva Veda Padashala, where most of the students who are there, not most, 99% students are from Bihar, UP, and Haryana. I'm supporting that Padashala because I want to ensure that Atharva Veda should also flourish like Yajurveda, which is most commonly. As you know, we as Sanatana Dharma have a responsibility to protect Vedas. I would request that please request all the viewers who are listening to me. In your village, in your village, there may be a small Padasala, or in town, there may be a small Padasala. Adopt a Padasala. $100 per month or $500 per year is nothing for us. And what is that amount for them? It's a huge amount. Today, I'm supporting about 6 Padasalas with my minimum social security and pension. I just want to ensure that these Padasalas exist. There are many priests who, with their own resources, priestism, whatever they earn, they are teaching 10, 11, 15 students in their houses. In our family, if you have 2 children or 3 children, we say, oh my God, it's very difficult to handle these 3 children, so difficult to handle. It's so expensive. Imagine these priests, with the morning they go for a Vedic Karikram, they come back and support 11 children. The wives cook for them and support this Padasala. Don't you think that we have a responsibility towards them? We have. I am not forcing anybody, but I want all those Sanatana Dharmis to understand the intricacies, what exactly we are going. Today, our culture is being followed by all over the world. They want to adopt Sanatana Dharma. Everybody is doing Yajna, everybody is doing Rudraparanam, Rudrabhishekam. Even White House, people are asked to come and chant Rudram for any inaugural function. So that's the kind of value the international groups have started recognizing Ayurveda. So we also have a basic responsibility to ensure that we protect our Veda and protect our Veda Padasalas.
Yeah.
One more advice I will give to all those. One more small.
So
I will take only 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I will only request all those people who want to study Veda, study only from Sanskrit book or Grantham books. Don't read Tamil book to learn Vedas, because the number of syllables, number of words are more in Sanskritam, etc., and your pronunciation will become very. You can't hear this pronunciation if you learn it from Tamil book in Vedam. And there's one more thing. There is a Durga Saptasiti Parayan. There is a chapter called 12th in the 22nd slok that it says, Shrutam harati papani tatharogyam prayachati raksham karotu bhutebhyo janmanam kitinam mama. Listening to Veda itself will take care of all your disease problems, etc. So don't listen to CDs, don't listen to tapes and learn from there. Go to Guru or anybody who knows Vedam, learn from them and preserve our Vedam. That's what it is. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chinu, for this excellent explanation about Vedic chanting, particularly Ganam with a demonstration, which shows how complex Ganam is. I just mentioned it earlier about this selection process, and it is so highly difficult to get the coveted title of Ganapatical. So this is so important, the tone and the pronunciation It has to be learned from a guru, experienced guru, to make sure that you learn in the right lines. And this is he has also mentioned the current status of the Veda chanting throughout. So that is also important because many of the original sakas of Vedas are missing, the Vedas are in depleted condition. So in order to sustain Sanatana Dharma, it is essential that Vedas are kept alive and nurtured. So that was the emphasis made by Chino, and I'd like to support that. So let's move on further, having seen how complex it is. What are the other things in Vedas, the Vedic origin? The Indian music is one of them. So this is the emphasis on reciting correct pronunciation led to a lot of studies in phonetics and sound manipulation. This led to the birth of the Indian musical raga and swaras. The India, as you know, is rich in culture and tradition. It has many forms of arts like music and dancing, and Indian classical music as one of the most complex and complete musical systems ever developed. The Vedic chants began with a single tone chanting like Archika, Gana of the Rig Veda, and two-tone chanting called Gitika, Gana on the Yajurveda, and eventually a multi-tonal chanting called Samika Gana of three notes, which has the base note called Swarita, a higher note called Udatta, and a lower note called Anudatta. So later identification of these musical intervals called Chatusruti in Indian music, it paved the way for creating a full complement of 7 notes or saptaswaras. Samaveda is said to be the foundation of Indian music, and it consists mostly of Rig Vedic hymns set to musical tones. These are sung in various Vedic sacrifices using musical notes, 3 notes or 7. And in Samaveda itself, there are references to music, musical instruments too, and Upanishads, Brahmanas and Puranas. Natya Shastra, for example, mentions many musical concepts which are relevant to Carnatic music today. So traditionally, the vocal music has been based on religion or bhakti. You have bhakti geet, and temples have been the places where the musicians used to practice to please the deity as well as the devotees. So the saptaswaras are sung in praise, and as you see the picture, they all originated from the sounds from different animals. You have Sajja, Rishabha, Gandhara, Madhyama, Panchama, Saivata, and Rishada. They're all from different Sa, Ri, Ga, Ma, Pa, Ni, Pa, Da, Ni. So the Saptaswarams came like that, and there is a beautiful song sung, composed by the Saint Tyagaraja, which is in praise of these and all the Saptaswarams and how they originated. It is called Shobillu Saptaswara, and I want Vidya to sing that song.
Shobillu saptaswara shobillu saptaswara shobillu saptaswara shobillu saptaswara shobillu saptaswara shobillu saptaswara sundarule badimpave o manasa sobillu saptaswara sundarule badimpave o manasa sobillu saptaswara Nabihrit భజింపవేవో మనసలో విల్లు సప్త స్వరషో ధరరీసా మాధులలో ధరరీసా మాధులలో ధరరీసా మాధులలో వరగాయత్రి హృదయమున ధరరి సామాధులలో వరగాయత్రి హృదయమున సురభూసుర మానసమున సురభూసుర మానసమున సురభూసుర మానసమున సురభూసుర మానసమున శోభ త్యాగరాజు నీయడ సురభూసుర మానసమున శోభ త్యాగరాజు నీయడ శోభిల్లు సప్త స్వర సుందరుల భజింపవేవో మనస శోభిల్లు సప్త స్వర
What a beautiful composition by Saint Tyagaraja. I'd like to quickly tell you the meaning of this. Oh Manasa, Tyagaraja is saying, he's calling the mind, oh mind. Sobillu Saptaswara, Sundaralu Bajimbava. Pray those 7 beautiful notes. Sobillu Saptaswara. Such a beautiful 7 notes. Pray to them. In the Anupandavi, he says, Nabi Hrit Kanta Rasana. The sound has to come from Nabi. Like in Vedas also, I mentioned earlier, the sound has to come from below the belly button, Nabi. And the Hridayam. And Kantam is throat. Rasana is the tongue. So it has to come from the originate from the belly, the heart, throat, the tongue, and eventually Nasa, Nasadu, Layatu, from the nose. So this way that the sound is traveling is from the Nabi to the Hridayam or the heart, and then the throat, and then to the tongue, and then to the nose. So this is a complicated kind of way of traveling sound. So Veda Swaras are that. It has to come from the Nabi. So in the next charanam, he says, Thararik Samadu Lalovara. He is talking about Rig Veda, Sama Veda. There and Gayatri. Gayatri Hridayamanu. They are all in the heart of Rig Veda, Sama Veda, and Gayatri. And also Surabhusana Manasamunu. Sura is referring to the Devas. Bhusura are the people who are living on the earth. Also live in gods, the human beings, the hearts of human beings and gods, and also in Tyagaraja, Subha Tyagaraja. So it's a composition which illustrates the importance of sound. Nada Brahmam is it's called. How the music of 7 notes are so beautiful, and how they originate within the body, and how they also live in the hearts of the Vedas, Rig Veda, Sama Veda, and Gayatri Mantra. So that is the greatness of Vedas, which are the origin for the Saptaswaras too. So it is something which we should know, that the Vedas have different applications, and it's a very broad, it's an ocean. Sampath mentioned last time, it's an ocean. It cannot be covered in just 1 hour. All we are giving is simply some little sparkles here and there, highlighting the importance of Vedas and how it is complex and how it has to be practiced the right way in order to get the right benefits. So that is the point conveyed at the bottom line in today's session number 4, that we have told you about how the Vedic chanting is done in different complexities, starting from a sentence, simple sentence, and then in the ascending complexity of pada, krama, jata, and eventually ganam, which also had an excellent demonstration from my good friend Chino. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Chino and also Sampath for joining this meeting today. Chino particularly is a very busy man. He's got so many things to do. I made a special request to him to spare some time for us, and he was very kind enough to consent to that. So thank you, Chino, especially for agreeing and giving us a wonderful demonstration. We hope we'll have more opportunity to have you in this forum. And of course, Sampath has been spending a lot of time every week, and I want to thank him and the Chicago Ckb-Bari Temple for giving this opportunity. At this time, I would also like to wish you all a very happy Makara Sankranti and Pongal, which falls on the 14th of January. And we go to the next month as the sun starts traveling, Uttarayanam goes towards the north. So it is an auspicious moment. I wish you all the very best in Makara Sankranti. Thank you very much. With that, we conclude today's session number 4. Stay tuned for the next one, which is going to be on next Sunday. That will be at 5 o'clock Central Time. Same time, same day. Please join us. Stay tuned. There is more to come. Thank you very much. Namaste to everybody.
Thank you so much, Subhiji. Vidya Mami, namaskaram. Ashiram Bandungo.
I have.
Wonderful, so nice. Blessed today, really blessed today. Thank you.
Over to Sampath.
Yeah, dear devotees of Chicago Ckb-Bari, see, we were so lucky to get such a knowledgeable people. It's not a bookish knowledge, it's a kind of a practical experience. Have gone through their life and experienced, what the power of our Sanatana Dharma and the Vedas are. So again, I will be failing in my duty if I don't bring in a few points here. Ved is the root word, is a vid. Vid is knowledge. Vid is to know. You see, vid is a verb, to know. Again, from there emerges knowledge. What is knowledge? Take a simple example as an oncologist or a cardiologist or, a neurosurgeon. With all these 20, 22 years or 27 years of their life, by the time they attain their degree, they are by about 30 years old. I can say from my son's experience, probably he graduated when he was 25 or 27 and started studying from the age of 6. That the knowledge has been obtaining in a gradual level, stage by stage, right from the kindergarten, it goes on and on, and the child also picks up its knowledge right from day 1, it comes into the earth. And how much knowledge, what is knowledge? Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge. And there is a saying there, you think about all the 7 oceans. And think about how much of sand it has got inside the ocean and also on the shores. Calculated in terms of ton or metric tons or whatever you want to do it, I'm only calling about the 7 seas in the universe, What you have learned during your life is just one fistful of sand. That's all your knowledge is. They say in Tamil, Kattradu kaiman alavu kalladadu ulagadu. See, what you have learned is only a fistful of sand. What you don't know is the entire universe. That is what it is. And Veda is a bit to knowledge. That's what is all knowledge about. It is so vast, you cannot even compare. Uncomparable, unfathomable. You cannot fathom Vedas at all, Let me give you a simple, and Veda is nothing but full of the sound, the origin, where it generates, how it is generated, and then in a particular disciplined way it is generated, Think about the oldest sound in the world, Om. Om is a combination of 3 letters. Then he was talked about the Padam. Padam is a word, Word is a composition of letters. Om is a word. It is consisting of A, U, and Ma. The 3 letters composed of word, And where it originated? In the navel of the universe, right in black hole, they say, The latest theory is Om as a predominant sound is generated right from the navel of the universe, the black hole. You see, that's what it is. How powerful the sound is when it is uttered. Everybody has tested it. A lot of people, many countries have tested the sound of Om, And that's what it is, And particularly when you learn Vedas, what is the benefit and what you can see, I can tell from my experience, a very, very little experience in the sense, I come from a town called Kumbakonam. You see, all these people referred about that, that is called a temple city. In that city, there is one of the oldest Veda Pathasala, or a school of Veda is there. Started from Govinda Dikshidhar. I want to say that Pathasala, even before him, it was there. It's about 600 years old, And I have visited that since this is my hometown and we have a home there. I visited the Veda Pathasala every time I visit Kumbakonam. There are about 120 students of all kind of a thing, Vaishnavites, Saivite, and then Madhvas, everybody there, The age starts from 5, and then I have seen students at up to 22 years old, I watched each one of them. You see, they have been going through Siksha almost for, I want to say, minimum of 7 to 10 years of Siksha. And I had food with them, they didn't let me go. He said, uncle, you have to have food with us. Very simple food, one kind of a curd rice and one sambar rice. That's all they have, and a few vegetables, very simple food, And they get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Each one has got a box of things to contain, that one. They don't have a room or anything, They all sleep on the floor and everything else. But one thing I observed, which is very, very uniformly, it is true. Each one's face was like a fire. They were really, that you can see the radiance. I don't know. You see, ladies may be able to really assess it even better, what is radiance is, their eyes were sparkling and their faces were radiant. I used to wonder, how did they obtain uniformly, all the 120 students, How is it possible? Or they use some cream or some facial thing, what that Hollywood is using it? None of them. They don't even use soap, that it is, That is what the beauty of the sound, what it can do. And Vedas are nothing but few words and sound generated from various parts of the body. He said lips, he said nose, he said teeth. Then it shows, the navel, the heart. I think every nerve is tuned, when they utter in a particular kind of a thing. In fact, I heard them uttering for about 1 hour. I was sitting there and listening to them, My God, what a vibration, in that room, It was a big hall, 100 by 100 square foot area. And the whole hall was vibrating like anything, And I don't have to say to the Chicago Ckb-Bari people, we do Rudra Abhishekam every Monday for 2 hours, and the priests and other people chant, And the whole Sanctum Cantorium is full of vibration of sounds, So anybody who has a scientist mind, you think about what these vibrations can do, Now, with this, I want to this is, don't leave it at here. What you have heard, try to chew it, try to introspect and try to think it over and bring your practical experience and thing. Then you will be able to assess what kind of a value our Sanatana Dharma has, We have a long, long way to go, as Shubhi was saying, and it is a continuous lecture, and the sea is unfathomable. And with this, I conclude today's satsang. And please join us tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow is Monday. We have a Rudram chanting as usual at 7 o'clock by 3 or 4 people. And followed by Andal Satsang at 9 o'clock. With that, let me say bye to you. Thank you.